The Desert Tiger Podcast.
Hello.
Hello, Karli. How's it going
How's
today?
it going? It's going great. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. I may have slept in just a little bit today, but thankfully I was still able to make it in here on time, so we're ready to rock and roll.
That's awesome. Well, hey, we all deserve to sleep in.
Exactly. Sometimes you just have to, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Are you in what city are you in?
I'm in Kamloops, British Columbia.
Oh, okay. So you guys are ahead of us. No, behind us.
It is 10 a.m. here right now?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't sleep in that long.
No. Like, slept in for me to say is like 7:30, where it's like, oh no, it's not 6.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. We're here to talk a little bit about your musical journey here today. Some new music coming our way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you ready to jump on into it, Karli? Do you have any questions?
No, let's just go for it.
All right. So, I want to lay a little bit of a foundation down here for our listener. So, of course, when it comes to pursuing any sort of dream or goal, there has to come a moment where you decide, I want to do this. I want to go for this. So, when does a younger Karli June decide music is my passion?
For me, it started so young. I think I was I always loved music, but I would say probably the very first time that I ever sang in front of an audience was when I just fell in love with it. And it's so hard to explain, but at about 9 years old, I had this feeling in my heart of, this is what I'm going to do. And I don't know where that came from. I didn't come from a musical family. I didn't get that idea from someone that I was around. It was something in my heart and I couldn't get rid of it. And it's been a crazy journey since then, but that thing has never gone away from me.
Wow, so that spark from a really early age, and since then, it's just always been there.
Yeah, it's been there's never been a time where I've said, this isn't for me anymore. There's definitely been moments of, I don't know if I can do it. This is really hard. It definitely hasn't been all rose petals the whole time. It's been tough, but I think that desire, grows even stronger when you go through the hard stuff and you make it through the other side of that.
Absolutely. It's how we react to those hard moments that truly shows who we are, right?
Absolutely. And I'm thankful for the people too that have been part of that journey, that have encouraged me to keep going and have believed in me. And, that's part of this new single that is coming, and about, they believe in me even when I don't. And that is just so important to have those people in your life. And I'm so thankful for those people in my life.
Absolutely. It's always good to have a good team around you. And even from your first single, you've definitely seemed to have had exactly that, a good team around you of songwriters, producers, otherwise. So how did you go about getting a team together from the start, making sure that you really hit the ground running once you finally got to releasing your own music?
Yeah, that's a great question. For a long time, I was doing things very much on my own, and I would go to industry events where I would meet people and I would try to build as many friendships as I could. And that's sort of how I started to develop the right team around. It started as one producer. I think my very first producer who ever believed in me, it started kind of as a friendship over Facebook. And from there, you meet a few more people. But for me, it's just been building those relationships and having those people come alongside that are true friends, that are part of my team and that I really trust and I know that really, really believe in me and know who I am. And I think if you're putting who you are out into the world, I think that is going to attract the right people. And I think that's kind of what has happened. But it's honestly just been a gift from God as well. I remember just praying that I would meet a few people that would truly believe in me, and he provided me with five, great people in the industry. So it's to him for bringing me the people as well.
Well, it's a decent number to have, and I'm sure it will just continue to grow as you continue to grow. So I want to take a quick moment just to dive into what it was like to finally release that first single with Say Too Much in January there of 2020. So after probably years of going to these industry events, trying to build and craft your sound, what was it like to finally have that piece of yourself out there?
Oh, there's nothing like that feeling. You just feel like you're right in line doing what you're supposed to do. And that single allowed me to go across the country and do my first radio tour. So it opened a lot of doors for me and really, really put me out in front of a lot of people for the first time. And I was just so grateful. And it was kind of right after that the world shut down with COVID-19. So we kind of ramped up and got put to a hard pause. But, there's so much good that has come from that too, if I really dig into that. And so it's just been a crazy ride, and I'm just grateful. And I'm honestly just trying to soak up every single. I think as an artist, it's so easy to be always excited about the next song that's coming out. And I know there's a lot of music that's coming, but I'm very much trying to be present with each song and to be focused on that one. And they're all, little babies.
Yes, this is very, very true. We put our time into crafting and building each one of them, and it's, oh, is it ready to put out into the world? I hope so. Let's see how it does. Let's see how it grows.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it too, right? There's a lot of, as much as there's excitement, there is, I'm always a little bit nervous releasing something. You're worried about, are people going to react to it? Are they going to like it? And it's interesting because that really teaches you. And one thing I've learned a lot about the music industry is that people aren't always going to like everything that you do, and you can't please everyone, and you have to be okay with that, because if you take all of those things so personally, it's hard to keep going. You have to really believe in yourself. And that's what I've been trying to do over this past year, is just believe in myself so much that, no matter what comes against you, a pandemic, the music industry shutting down, you are determined that you're going to keep going.
Absolutely. It's as you said, there was a giant wall for all of us where we're trying to get momentum. You're probably preparing to play some live shows and like get ready for festival season and everything else. And then boom. So did you spend most of the last year songwriting, or how did you make the most of it?
Yeah, so I was very lucky that I had already started writing and doing a little bit of recording on my album that's coming out later this year. So we already had a base of that going. So we basically just had to adjust our sails of how we were going to continue that. We just moved all of the writing sessions that we were doing for that. We were able to move them online. In fact, I actually ended up being able to write with a few other writers that I wasn't planning to write with because of timing and not having to be in person in Nashville. So I was thankful for that. And yeah, we recorded the rest of the record from Canada, Zooming with my producer, Karen Kasowski, in Nashville. So we just adapted the sails, and there was a lot of laughs along the way of me trying to record vocals in my bedroom closet. But I think it makes for a good memory.
Exactly that. It's like you said earlier, where we want to take the time to appreciate each of these various moments, smell the flowers, if you will, right? And that's quite the moment to build through, where it's like, oh yeah, I was building up, I had singles, we're in the studio, we're rocking it down in Nashville, and it's like, and now I'm in a closet. But we did it.
Exactly. I was like, these are, the moments that remind you of your true heart for what you're doing. It's not about the glamour and the experience of being in Nashville. And, it's about the music. And for me, that I kind of tried to really use that opportunity for it just to bring me back to why I was doing what I'm doing. And I think if you have a why behind what you're doing, that is what gets you out of bed in the morning, and all of the glamour and all of those really beautiful things aren't there in the present moment. And I believe, they'll come back in their own time, but it has to be something beyond that that's keeping you going.
Absolutely, 100%. It stands to the art and being honest with your art. And like you also said, it also gave you the opportunity to work with some songwriters that you may not have had that chance to do too. So it really gave you the opportunity to maybe take a few more steps, because like those people would probably be all over the place, busy inside of different their own different studios and everything. So then just to even have them at home where you're like, they're not going very far. So it's just awesome that you were able to take that opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Where one door closes, another door opens. So I think that came out in the music side of things as well, the content of the album. I don't think it would have been the same album had we not have gone through everything. Well, actually, I know it wouldn't have been the same. It changes you. It changed all of us, my producers, my co-writers, me personally. We're all going through so many different things. And I think that always is going to come out in the music. And so I'm grateful for that.
It's the music industry is very much full of hustle and bustle, and even as songwriters who capture our feelings inside of songs, sometimes we're moving too fast to be able to take the time. So I think that this last year gave a lot of us time to slow down and not only think about this last year, but of a lot of what we've been through over the last couple of years.
Hmm. Absolutely. And you definitely said it right there. It gives you some extra time to be able to do things that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Right. All right. Well, let's jump into a few more of these songs that have come from this. I want to jump into your second single here quickly as well. That, of course, being Heart Drunk, which released in January of 2021 here, and also got you pretty far inside of a Jim Beam national search there. So what was it like to release that second single after this year of taking time to build yourself, craft yourself, and sort of not release anything, and then not only release something but also have it like carry you with such momentum?
Yeah. Well, it was definitely different releasing a song during a pandemic than it was before, because we didn't have those live shows, that interaction. And especially as a new artist, that is so important, to be meeting fans, to be playing for them, for them to be able to experience you as an artist and not just hear your songs. That is so important. So it was definitely a challenge to release a song amidst all of this, and things were very different, but it was great too. I think it kept me moving, and I think it opened the door for what's next as well. And that's kind of been my thing this year, is let's just keep moving. We're not going to stop. And I think if you show up and you keep showing up, and this single, has proved that things are going to keep going. If you don't show up and you stop and you let things come to an end, that's what's going to happen. So I'm thankful, and it's been so much fun as well, having a distraction from everything that's going on in the world and just being able to focus on music.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To be able to take that time away from there's a lot of, yelling into the void on social media, in just the media in general and otherwise. So it's very good to be able to have an escape.
Definitely, very much so. And I think releasing a very positive, hopeful love song during a pandemic was also interesting. But I try to incorporate hope and positivity into all of my music. And that's just something that's important to me. It's, who I try and strive to be each day in the world, is someone, that brings a smile. And I think that we all have an opportunity to do that in our own unique way. But for me, that's music. And so releasing a really happy, optimistic song, I wasn't sure how people would respond to that. But yeah, I recently got engaged through this pandemic as well. And so this song was just, how I was feeling. I'm feeling very, very heart drunk. And so I hope that it leaves people with that same feeling in a time where we all need that.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's a feeling that most of us have felt, that fluttering of the heart, the butterflies in the stomach, the constant, does this mean something? Like, where is this going to go? And obviously for you, this has gone somewhere. So congratulations on getting engaged.
Thank you so much. It's just been so wonderful. I feel like the luckiest girl in the world.
Right. All right. Well, it's good that you have someone to make you feel that way too.
Yeah, and it took a long time to meet the right person and for that to happen. And of course, wasn't expecting to be engaged during a world pandemic by any means, but definitely just having that is a true gift right now. And there's so many people we can't be close to. I count that just as a ginormous blessing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Some of us have maybe been cut off from being able to visit our home teams, one might say.
Exactly, exactly.
All right. All right. So let's dive into this new song because it's something that I definitely feel myself with home team here. So what does it mean to one Karli June?
Well, I'm so glad to hear that you connect with it. Home team is for those people in everyone's life that have been there for the mountaintop moments and have also been, the first one that calls you when you're feeling down. And I think we all have those people. It might be your family, maybe it's not your family, maybe it's a special friend or someone, but those people are your home team. And I had this idea, this title in my mind because I've been very blessed to have an amazing family. My parents have come to a lot of shows where they were the only ones in the audience. And as have my friends, they would be the first ones on the dance floor when I would be playing in country bars. And we've had a lot of fun, but they've been there since the very beginning. And I just wanted to write a song that was to thank them and to celebrate that. And, I'm a small town girl as well. And so my hometown just means a ton to me. And I think there's something special. The song talks about when you're driving in the laneway and, you see your dad and your mom and just that feeling inside. And the song is just made to celebrate that.
Absolutely. And I mean, you always got to celebrate the small town wave too, right? Where everybody, I don't know what it is about a small town, but I love it because I come from a farm myself. So it's, you're just cruising down Main Street and everybody you see, oh, hey.
Yeah, oh, totally. That's awesome. So you get it, that's just the best feeling ever.
So who helped you to bring this song to life? Who are the co-songwriters?
So I wrote this song with Tori Teller, who is an amazing writer and friend. And it was written and produced also with Karen Kasowski in Nashville, who has produced my entire record that's coming out. And I brought the title in and she right away said, what if we make it feel like a marching band in a sports stadium? And I was like, oh, I love that. Let's capture this feeling of people being together. And it's ironic because we wrote it before the pandemic. I was in Nashville with them and now we're releasing it in a year where, we haven't been able to be with our people. And so I think that this song just means so much more than I could have imagined it meaning when we wrote it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's even if we can't be around those that we love, we can still show support for, and we can reach out and show that we care and whatever it happens to be, right?
Yeah, a phone call I think goes a long way during these times. I used to always just text people, but I've been really trying to pick up the phone and give someone a personal call. And I think that's, where rediscovering the value of our relationships during this time and how we really need each other.
It's being able to hear someone's voice is it just adds such a level of personality and humanity to it all where it's like it's almost soothing, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's I think how we're made as people is to connect with one another.
Awesome, awesome. So you mentioned that home team is a part of a bigger collection, a bigger piece of art, an upcoming album. And I know that you've recently signed with the Orchid as well. So what can you tell us about the future without giving away too much?
Yeah. Yeah, so we are distributing the album through the Orchard, which is really great. I think that's going to really help get the album out to more people. I won't say too much, but the album is every single song on that album is a part of who I am. So there's songs about small towns, there's songs about faith, there's songs about your journey and discovering who you are. And there's some fun songs on there and some songs that just truly mean a lot to my heart. And I've really worked hard to make this every single song really mean something true. And like I said before, to also send out that hope in the world. And I can't wait for people to hear it.
Awesome. I'm sure that the fans, that the listeners can't wait to hear all of it as well, as they've definitely been crushing your current singles. I'm sure that this new one, Home Team, is going to do just as well too.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't wait for it to come out and for everyone to crank it up with their people, but even if it's over Zoom.
It's you can still get a pretty good dance party going in Zoom.
Exactly. Exactly.
As long as you're having a good vibes, you got good mood and good people. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Exactly. That's everything, right?
Yes, exactly. All right. All right. So we mentioned how at the start of last year when you begin, everything had to shut down. You couldn't play shows, you couldn't travel to Nashville. All of these different things. And now is we're getting to the point where the world might begin to open up again here soon. You might have the chance to bring these songs to a live crowd. So how exciting is that?
That is, it honestly feels like a dream in my mind because for this whole year, it's felt so far-fetched. When's that going to happen? When are we doing that? And now to see that little light that's coming, I don't want to forget everything I've learned during this time because I think it's taught me so much about who I am. I said at the beginning of this, I don't want to leave the pandemic being the same person that I came into it as. And so I feel like I'm going to be going out as a better artist, hopefully, a better person. And I just can't wait to perform again and to see, how I can put on a better show, how I can connect with people, hopefully. And I'm just so excited.
All right. All right. I'm excited too. And hopefully I'll be able to catch at least one of those shows myself, jamming out with the crowd.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. All right, Karli June. I've had a blast chatting so far. I have one last question. Are you ready for it?
Lay it on me.
Okay. So we've talked about your musical progression over this last year and a half, this last 2 years, growing into this new album here. But now what I want to know is how has this time, this process, how has it helped you grow as a person, or what has it taught you about yourself?
That's a great question. I think when things in life are taken away from you, and for me, that was performing and, traveling around and being around people all the time and getting, the blessing of getting to do that. And when those things were suddenly taken away, a lot on the inside of you is shaken up. And so it's really reminded me that, our identity can't be in these things. At any time, any of this could stop. It doesn't, take a world pandemic. And it's really taught me just to be, more strong in who I am. And that is something that I'm grateful to have the opportunity to learn. And I think that's going to help so much moving forward in the rest of my career. When the songs do really well, to remember that, but also when things don't go well, is knowing that that's okay and nothing can take away from who you are and your purpose here on earth.
Wow, I really love that answer.
Well, yeah, it's true. Like it's been hard. I make it sound in a sentence like it's, just snap your fingers and you feel that way. But there's been a lot of days, honestly, through this pandemic where I'm like, who am I? Like, what's going on here? This joy that I was getting from all of these things is gone. And how do I find that joy again? I had to dig deep to be able to find that.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you had the opportunity to find exactly that.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question. That's a great question.
No worries. Thank you, Karli, for joining me here today on the Desert Tiger podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.